This month's Thursdoid highlights some of the latest additions to many of the various aspects of Build 42, as well as a new strategy the devs are using for the development of this update that will surely get it out to us much faster. Getting right into the specifics of this new development strategy, they tell us that the main aspect of Build 42, which is the crafting overhaul, is what has been holding things back. Everything else in the update is pretty much finished and mostly just needs polishing, so their new plan is to work on tying up all the loose ends in order to get to an unstable public release even sooner. They have already completed a lot of work for the crafting, so what is already done like blacksmithing, pottery, woodworking, and fluid mechanics will come out with everything else. The rest of the various aspects and crafting trees that have yet to be completed will come out either during the unstable phase of Build 42 or as small updates once it's officially released. Despite this, there will definitely be plenty of new things to play with when it comes to crafting. What all of this mostly means is that we will be getting all of the other cool features that Build 42 has to offer much sooner than we originally would have. Things like the map expansion, the new basements and height limits, and animals should all be available for us once the unstable branch comes out. They've only just made this decision, so they tell us that by the next blog post, they will be able to give us a better idea of the time frame for when this will release. Now for a look at some of their recent additions to 5 different features in Build 42. First, they show us a few images of their improvements to Muldrow. You can see the huge upgrades they've done to the church, the school, and the police station. They have mentioned in previous blog posts that they also plan on doing this to the other towns in the game, of course. Second, something new that they've added onto the lighting overhaul is sprite overlays for individual light sources when they're turned on. This will utilize the realistic lighting that they have been working on to make it so that things like lamps with a blue lampshade will emanate a bluish light which propagates from the source. Of course, this will also affect things like neon signs and street lamps. You can see in these images here what they are talking about. The third thing they mention is how they are working more on fleshing out the newspapers and other various flyers which will add to the lore of the world. There will obviously be newspapers you can find detailing the beginnings of the outbreak and how society fell, and just other random news all over the place. To go along with these, they now have newspaper stands where you'll definitely be able to find some of them. On top of this, they also plan on making it so that any characters you can hear on the radio or see in flyers and things like that can be found in their respective locations as zombies on the map. They gave us an example of this previously with this flyer for a car dealership saying that you'll be able to find the zombified owner of this place. Something else along these lines that will be in the game is things like survivor zombies and safe houses will only be able to be found during a time frame that would make sense. So the longer it has been since the start of the apocalypse, the more of these things you will find. Fourth, a few exciting new things for multiplayer. Now servers will be able to choose their own login and connection screen images as well as a custom server icon. There is now improved anti-cheat settings. You can configure through server options which settings you want to turn on or off, and you can also choose what happens when someone cheating is detected, whether it be a ban, kick, or even ignore. They added a way to view and configure the capabilities of roles on a server like the admin, moderator, and user. You can also create your own custom roles. And probably the coolest new multiplayer feature is that there will now be a War Manager feature which will allow you to govern conflicts between groups on your server. You can customize timers and countdowns and also wage war on rival players, which they will then need to accept. If the war is accepted, then safe house protection will be turned off. If you decline a declaration of war too many times, your safe house protection will be forced to turn off. All of this can be changed to your liking. The fifth and final new addition we get to see in this month's Thursdoid is a bunch of cool new miscellaneous items which will surely be more stuff to spice up the looting in the game. As you can see here, we have a bunch of new containers like this takeout box and Halloween candy bucket, and we also have a ton of new novelty key rings. And that's going to be it for the Project Zomboid news this month, and it sounds like the next one will be very exciting, with us possibly getting a better idea on when we can finally expect to sink our teeth into the Build 42 Unstable branch, so be on the lookout for that.